October 14, 1943. 291 B-17 flying fortresses are climbing into the morning sky over England, their cyclone engines thundering across the countryside. The crews know where they're going. Schweinfurt, Germany. Ball-bearing factories. The third mission to this godforsaken target in 2 months. And every single man in those bombers knows what happened last time. 60 bombers didn't come home. But here's what those crews don't know yet. Here's what's about to change the entire war in the skies over Europe. In the next 6 hours, the Luftwaffe is going to throw everything they have at this formation. Every fighter, every tactic, every ounce of desperation. They're going to shoot down 60 more flying fortresses. They're going to kill or capture over 600 American airmen. They're going to claim the single bloodiest day in the history of the 8th Air Force. And they're going to lose the war because of it. See, the thing about walls is this: you can throw yourself against them again and again. You can crack them. You can make them bleed. But if that wall doesn't break, if it keeps coming back stronger every single time, eventually you're the one who shatters. And in 1943, the Luftwaffe hit the flying fortress wall with everything they had. They broke bombers. They broke crews. They broke records for destruction. But the wall didn't fall. And when the smoke cleared, it was the Luftwaffe lying in pieces. This is the story of how Nazi Germany won the battle and lost the war. How the darkest day for American bomber crews became the beginning of the end for the once invincible Luftwaffe. How 60 burning fortresses falling from the sky over Germany marked the exact moment when the hunters became the hunted. Because 1943 wasn't just a year. It was a turning point, a line in the sky drawn in fire and blood. And today we're going to walk you through exactly how it happened. How the most powerful defensive fighter force in history threw their best punch and realized, too late, that they'd just broken their hand. If you want to understand how air warfare changed forever, how the Allies won the skies over Europe, and how the greatest air force in the world destroyed itself trying to stop an unstoppable tide, you need to hit that subscribe button right now. Because this story has twists you won't believe. And it starts with the most brutal air battle in history. Let's talk about Black Thursday. The fortress and the flaw. The B-17 Flying Fortress wasn't just a propaganda name. When Boeing rolled out that prototype in 1935, bristling with machine guns, a reporter called it a flying fortress. The name stuck because it was true. For Wright Cyclone engines, 1350 caliber machine guns, 2 tons of bombs, and it could take unbelievable punishment. B-17s came home with tails missing, with holes big enough to walk through, with engines gone, and still made it back. The Air Corps saw the future: strategic bombing. Hit their factories, refineries, ball-bearing plants. Destroy their ability to make war. Do it in daylight with massive formations so heavily armed that no fighter force could stop you. The self-defending bomber. Pack fortresses tight so their combined firepower would shred any attacking fighter. Hundreds of guns covering every angle. The Air Corps ran the numbers and believed it would work. Early raids on France went pretty well. Losses were manageable. American industry cranked out B-17s faster than Germany could shoot them down. Everything looked good. Then they flew deeper into Germany. Then they hit targets that actually mattered. That's when the cracks showed. The fatal flaw: those 13 machine guns only worked if fighters attacked from certain angles. And the Germans learned fast. By mid-1943, they'd figured out the weak point. The nose. Come in head-on from 12 o'clock high and you're only facing a couple of guns. The Luftwaffe started doing exactly that. Head-on attacks with 20mm cannons. 30mm rounds that could tear a wing off. Rockets fired into the formation. And here's the thing: those defensive formations only worked if you stayed in formation. Fall behind and you were dead. A lone fortress was just target practice. Then there was the bigger problem: range. The P-47 Thunderbolts escorting the bombers could only go to the German border. Then they had to turn back. For the next 3 or 4 hours, those fortresses were on their own. The Luftwaffe knew this. They'd wait for the escorts to leave, then hit with everything they had. Wave after wave, all the way to the target and back. By summer 1943, losses hit 10% per mission. Bomber crews had to fly 25 missions to go home. The odds of surviving? Below 30%. Less than 1 in 3. You're 22 years old. You've been told you're flying the most advanced bomber in the world. Then you get to England and you see the empty bunks. You watch friends not come back. You do the math. But orders are orders. Every morning, those crews climb into their fortresses and take off. Because that's the mission. October 1943. The target is Schweinfurt, deep in Germany. Ball-bearing factories. The date is October 14th. They're calling it Black Thursday. 300 bombers are going in. Not all of them are coming back. Black Thursday. The briefing happens at 0300 hours. The crews shuffle into the operations room, still half asleep, grabbing coffee, trying to wake up. Then they see the map. The red line stretching from England across the Channel, across occupied France, across all of Western Germany, all the way to Schweinfurt. Deep in Bavaria, almost to the Czech border. Someone in the back of the room says what everyone's thinking: oh hell, Schweinfurt. Again. Third time they're hitting this target. And everyone in that room knows what happened on the second raid back in August. 36 bombers lost. 360 men gone. 1 mission. 1 day. And now they're going back. The intelligence officer explains why. Ball bearings. Schweinfurt produces over half of Germany's ball bearings. Every tank, every aircraft, every artillery piece, they all need ball bearings. Take out Schweinfurt and you cripple the entire Nazi war machine. The target is critical. The mission is essential. Fighter escort will take you as far as Aachen. Then you're on your own until the pickup on the way back. Translation: you're going to be flying without fighter cover for over 300 miles. Through the most heavily defended industrial target in Germany. Against every Luftwaffe fighter that can get airborne. For hours. The crews don't say much. They just listen. They look at that red line. They do the math. And then they head out to their aircraft because that's what you do. That's the job. 0930 hours. 291 B-17s are airborne. Forming up over England. Climbing to altitude. The fighter escorts are already up, Thunderbolts circling, waiting to pick up the bomber stream. Everything's running on schedule. The weather's decent. Visibility's good. All things considered, it could be worse. By 1100 hours, they're over Belgium. The fighter escorts are doing their job, keeping the Luftwaffe fighters at bay. A few attacks, nothing serious. The formation stays tight. Then they cross into Germany. Then they hit Aachen. And the Thunderbolts have to turn back. One of the pilots, watching the American fighters peel away, heading back to England, said later that it felt like watching your older brother drop you off in the worst neighborhood in the city and then just driving away. You're on your own now. Good luck. And that's when the Luftwaffe shows up. Not a few fighters. Not a squadron. The entire defending force of Jägerschwader 1, JG-3, JG-11, JG-26, BF-109s, FW-190s, twin-engine BF-110s with rocket launchers, over 300 German fighters, and they're all coming at the same time, wave after wave, attack after attack. The German pilots have learned. They're not doing tail attacks anymore. They're coming in from the nose, head-on, closing at over 500 miles per hour combined speed. The bomber gunners have maybe 3 seconds to track and fire. 3 seconds before the fighters blow past them at point-blank range, cannons hammering. Then another group comes in. Then another. The B-17 Giesel, hit by cannon fire in the nose, explodes, just disintegrates. The crew of the bomber flying next to it watched it happen. 1 second it's there. The next second it's gone. Just debris and smoke and pieces falling. The radio is chaos. Everyone's shouting. Fighters 12 o'clock high. Fighters 3 o'clock level. Taking fire. We're hit. Number 3 engines on fire. The gunners are firing constantly. Brass casings are piling up ankle-deep inside the bombers. The gun barrels are getting so hot they're glowing. And the fighters just keep coming. The bomber Stuttgart WAG takes a hit in the wing. The fuel tank explodes. The entire wing is on fire. The pilot holds it steady for 30 seconds, giving his crew time to bail out. 7 men jump. Then the wing folds and the bomber goes into a spin, taking the pilot and co-pilot with it. 2 more deaths. 7 prisoners of war. 1 mission. By the time they reach Schweinfurt, they've already lost 20 bombers. 20. And they haven't dropped a single bomb yet. The target is covered in flak. The anti-aircraft guns open up, filling the sky with exploding metal. The bombers have to fly straight and level through it. That's the rule. No evasive action during the bomb run. The bombardiers need a stable platform. So they fly through the flak, and the German fighters, seeing the bombers locked into their attack runs, swarm in even harder. But the Americans drop their bombs. They always drop their bombs. That's the mission. The factories take hits. Buildings explode. Fires start. The crews watch the destruction below them and think maybe, just maybe, this was worth it. Then they have to turn around and fly all the way back through that gauntlet. The return trip is worse. Some of the bombers are shot up so badly they can't maintain altitude. They start falling behind. The German fighters pick them off one by one. The bomber Miss Prudy, with 2 engines gone and the tail section shredded, tries to make it back. The crew is firing at everything that moves. But more fighters come in. They hit the cockpit. The pilot's killed. The co-pilot takes over, but he's wounded. The bomber starts losing altitude fast. They're down to 8,000 feet. 6,000. 4,000. They're not going to make it. The co-pilot gives the order to bail out. 8 men jump over Germany. 2 were already dead. Another crew gone. By the time the remnants of the formation cross back into Allied airspace, by the time the P-47s meet them again and chase off the last of the German fighters, by the time they start landing back in England in the late afternoon, the count is done. 60 bombers lost. 650 men killed or captured. 17 more bombers damaged so badly they'll never fly again. 5 more crash-landed in England. Over 600 aircraft crewmen wounded. 1 mission. 1 day. The single bloodiest mission in the history of the 8th Air Force. They call it Black Thursday. The crews who flew it, the ones who survived, they don't talk about it much. What's there to say? They went. They saw their friends die. They came back. That's all. The Air Force brass looks at the numbers and realizes something terrible. This isn't sustainable. You can't lose over 20% of your attacking force on a single mission and call it a victory. You can't ask crews to fly into that kind of destruction 25 times and expect anyone to survive. Something has to change. And that's when the decision gets made. The decision that's going to change everything. The decision that 6 months later is going to break the Luftwaffe forever. They need long-range escorts. Fighters that can go all the way to the target and back. Fighters that can protect the bombers through the entire mission. Not just to the German border. All the way. In December 1943, The first P-51 Mustangs equipped with drop tanks arrive in England. They've got the range. They've got the performance. They can escort the bombers anywhere. The Luftwaffe doesn't know it yet, but they've just won their last victory. The Mustang arrives. January 1944. First P-51 Mustangs flying combat missions over Germany. At first, nobody's that impressed. Just another fighter. Then missions pile up. Luftwaffe pilots notice something's wrong. A FW-190 pilot tries diving away at 20,000 feet. Mustang stays with him. He levels out at 10,000, full throttle. Mustang's still there, running him down. The range. Mustangs show up over Berlin, Munich, places the Luftwaffe thought were safe. Suddenly American fighters everywhere. But here's what breaks the Luftwaffe. The Mustangs don't just escort bombers. They hunt. New orders, aggressive pursuit, chase German fighters, follow them to their airfields, strafe parked aircraft, attack trains, hit trucks, make Germany bleed. February 1944. Operation Argument. Big week. 1,000 bombers, 800 fighters, 6 days hitting aircraft factories. Force the Luftwaffe to fight. When they do kill them, the Luftwaffe takes the bait. They have to defend their factories. They scramble everything. Mustangs are waiting. Massive dogfights from 30,000 feet to the deck. Gun cameras show Mustangs chasing Messerschmitts through clouds, over forests, into valleys. German pilots trying everything. Mustangs staying with them. Aircraft exploding. Pilots bailing. Planes burning. End of big week. Luftwaffe lost 600 aircraft. In 1 week. Worse than the aircraft, the pilots can build a fighter in weeks. Training pilots takes months. The veterans are gone. Luftwaffe tries adapting. Heavily armored fighters to attack bombers with escorts to protect them. Sturmgruppen flying FW-190s with extra armor and heavy cannons. Doesn't work. Extra armor makes them slow. Sitting ducks. Mustangs tear them apart. June 1944. Berlin mission. Sturmgruppen lose half their aircraft in one engagement. Summer 1944. Mustangs flying independent sweeps. Hunting. Strafing airfields. Destroying parked aircraft. Shooting up trains. The numbers tell it. January 1944. Luftwaffe had 2,000 fighters. By September, lost 10,000 aircraft. Still building new ones but can't replace pilots. Replacement pilots have maybe 100 flight hours. Americans have 300-400 hours plus combat experience. Kids with weeks of driver's ed racing NASCAR pros. In a fight to the death. German pilots crack. Some refuse to fly. Some develop mysterious illnesses. Some break down. Fall 1944. Luftwaffe essentially loses air superiority over Germany itself. American and British aircraft flying wherever they want, whenever they want. Remember Schweinfurt? Cost 60 bombers in October 1943. February 1944. 11 losses. March. 9 losses. The Mustang did that. 1 aircraft. 1 doctrine change. Broke the Luftwaffe's back. The final blow and the ashes. December 1944. Germany's surrounded. Russians pushing east. Americans and British closing from west. German cities bombed around the clock. War's lost. But the Nazis won't surrender. Luftwaffe plans one last operation. Bodenplatte. Base plate. Hit Allied airfields in Belgium and Holland on New Year's Day. Catch them on the ground. Destroy aircraft. By breathing room. They scrape together 900 fighters. Every pilot still flying. Largest operation in months. For security, they don't tell their own flak crews. January 1st, 1945. Operation Bodenplatte launches. First it works. Germans catch Allies by surprise. Strafing parked aircraft. Bombing hangars. Destroy over 300 Allied aircraft. And it's their suicide note. 900 German aircraft? Lose 300. Some to Allied fire. Some to fighters that scramble. Some to their own flak guns. Nobody told the gunners these were friendlies. Worse than aircraft. 214 pilots. Dead or captured. Not green replacements. Experienced aviators. Flight leaders. Squadron commanders. Guys flying since 1939. The Luftwaffe's institutional knowledge. Gone in one morning. Allies replace lost aircraft in a week. Factories running full bore. But Luftwaffe can't replace pilots. No time. No fuel for training. Barely fuel for combat. Final death blow, fuel itself. Early 1945, Germany's out of oil. Synthetic plants bombed. Romanian fields gone to Soviets. Refineries destroyed. Aircraft don't fly without fuel. Pilots sitting next to perfectly good aircraft that can't fly. Training programs shut down. New pilots get 10 hours in cockpit before combat. 10 hours. Against Americans with hundreds of hours and months of combat. Not a fight. An execution. March 1945. Luftwaffe fields the Me-262 jet. Revolutionary. Over 500 miles per hour. Heavily armed. Future of air combat. They've got 50 operational because no fuel for more, and pilots die faster than jets can be built. Me-262's score kills. Doesn't matter. Too late. Numbers too overwhelming. For every German jet, 50 Allied aircraft. And jets have to land eventually. Mustangs wait near airfields, shoot them down landing or taking off. April 1945. Luftwaffe finished. Aircraft can't fly, no fuel. Pilots can't train, no time. Airfields overrun. Orders not followed because officers dead or fled. Germany surrenders May 8th. Luftwaffe ceases to exist. Thousands of aircraft captured. Brand new. Never flown. This didn't have to happen. Luftwaffe in 1943 still formidable. Good aircraft. Skilled pilots. But they didn't adapt fast enough. Black Thursday looked like German victory. 60 bombers destroyed. 650 casualties. Bloodiest day in 8th Air Force history. But it was the high-water mark. The furthest they'd ever get. After that day, Americans changed everything. Brought Mustangs. Changed doctrine. Turned pilots loose to hunt. 18 months later, Luftwaffe was dead. That's the lesson of 1943. Luftwaffe hit the flying fortress wall with everything they had. Won the battle. Broke bombers. Broke crews. Broke records. But the wall didn't fall. Bombers kept coming. When Mustangs arrived, hunters became hunted. Luftwaffe realized too late they'd already lost. The fortress held. The Luftwaffe shattered themselves against it.